to everybody who's joined in. I can see a lot of people are joining now. So, a very good evening to all from Neelambagh Palace in Bhavnagar. My name is Brajeshwari Kumari, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a history of the palace, as well as a little bit about Palace Day that we are all celebrating today. So, a very happy Palace Day firstly to everybody here. And to begin with, let me just say that the Center for Historic Houses has done such a great job by bringing in the Indian palaces and historic houses into the Palace Day, which has been celebrated by European historic houses for so much time now. So once again, I would like to thank Dr. Schmidt and her entire team to so efficiently sort of put this together for another year. We were very happy to be part of this last year as well. And they've done it so seamlessly, and I see a lot of new palaces have joined this year as well. So I'm quite thrilled to be part of it, as represent my family in being part of Palace Day. So a little bit about Neelambagh. Neelambagh Palace was built in 1879. So it's not 500, 800 years old. We are located in Bhavnagar, which is in the Saurashtra region of Gujarat. So Bhavnagar is a city which was founded in 1723. So the kingdom was founded in 1723, and Bhavnagar has actually housed a lot of palaces prior to Neelambagh. So Neelambagh is not the first palace of Bhavnagar, but it has been the home of the royal family of Bhavnagar for a while now, which I will continue to elaborate on. So a lot of people asked for a quick tour of the palace or something like that, and I think the resilience lecture that Dr. Schmidt had started last year during COVID, the first episode was done by me, and I kind of took everybody through to the palace. So I think I'm going to avoid doing that. I'll try and give you all a quick sort of overview of what we're seeing here. But prior to that, let me just say that Neelambagh was built, so if you look at some photographs that have already been put up, it is there's a lot of colonial influence in terms of architecture here. And it was built, like I said, in 1879, much after the founding of Bhavnagar. And at the time it was built for the then Yuvraj of Bhavnagar, who was Bhav Singh Ji II. So it has housed a lot of people over these years. And it's a Rajula structure, so it's built with limestone. There, if you can see in the background here, there's a lot of colonial influence in the way the arches and the pillars have been designed. It was designed, interestingly, by an engineer, not an architect, although there was a German architect who was part of the building design. It was designed by this British engineer who was actually the state engineer of Bhavnagar for 25 odd years, and he's contributed thoroughly, in terms of Bhavnagar's architectural marvels. If we go today to see, a lot of them have been built and designed under his time and tenure. And his name was Proctor Sims. There is actually a lovely memorial fountain for him in the center of the city, in the heart of the city. And Neelambagh as well is very centrally located in Bhavnagar. So we're not a palace, which is totally in the wilderness or something like that. We're in the heart of Bhavnagar. We have an airport just 10 minutes from us. So we're in a very bustling, commercial environment. So we do end up getting a lot of local tourists, a lot of locals who come here to eat, to relax, to enjoy. And it's been almost 30 years since Neelambagh has been running as a heritage hotel. So I think it was during my grandparents' time when they converted the structure into a hotel. So now why convert? There was this trend of converting a lot of palaces in India to heritage hotels, and I think that trend sort of took place after the Privy Purses were abolished in 71. And the main reason for doing this is because these properties needed something to sustain with, right? So you have families getting more and more, smaller and living separately now. And then you have not so many tourists coming, guests coming into your homes, or these large families living together. So how do you maintain and how do you look after these properties and make them sustainable for the future? So that's when I think the trend to create hotels sort of came about. And Neelam Bagh has been, I think it's one of the oldest heritage hotels in Gujarat. And it's been, we've welcomed several guests over the years, be it dignitaries or film actors. We just had a film shooting recently. So it's been, there's a busy environment here. We welcome everyone. And the theme for this year actually for Palace Day has been the people. So like I said, to sort of create that financial viability, but at the same time to create that sort of chirpiness in a beautiful house, right? Because you have these huge structures, and if you leave them silenced, then I mean, they sort of become like these ghost eerie towns or properties. So to create that banter, we and many others of course have created these hotels. And I had a very interesting question actually, which was asked that how is it to live in a palace? And I get this asked a lot, but I'd like to first just say that Neelam Bagh has been running, like I said, as a hotel for 30 years. I'm not 30 years old also, so it's not my hard work that sort of created this as a financially and sustainable property. So my parents, my mother especially, is very involved, and my brother has a degree in hotel management and culinary, so he of course plays a very, very active role in the management of the structure on a daily basis. So it's a family unit. Everybody is involved, everybody pitches in. We have, as we talk about people of the property, we have staff that's been with us since generations, and their family. I wouldn't even call them staff, because you have people who have lived here, they've seen me grow up, they've seen my brother grow up, so they know the property, they know each and every corner, each and every leakage, each and every breakage, where is what. And I would actually like to introduce someone while we're on this mini tour. I would like to introduce someone who's actually, he's one of our in-house managers, and he's also a heritage expert when I talk about historic houses. So please excuse me, I'm just going to take this and move towards the other side. So please excuse my shift in movement. So prior to that, I will just talk about this crockery room where I'm sort of standing. So basically, it was my mother's idea just very recently prior to COVID to remove all the crockery that had been lying in our storage, and actually create something that can be a place where people can enjoy a meal and admire these beautiful pieces. Because obviously at the time when they were made, so you have a lot of these Mappin and Webb and other accompanied crockery pieces. And when they were created for these massive parties and massive gatherings during a time when there was a kingdom flourishing. So now, of course, we don't, we live in a democratic country, so of course we don't have those that lifestyle in that sense. But if crockery kept in storage, it will obviously become brittle and eventually be powdered and dust. So to prevent that, as well as to make the most of all the sort of antique pieces that we have, we created this crockery room where it's a private dining space, so it fits about 8 people, and you can enjoy a nice intimate get-together family meal. And of course, in times of the pandemic, it works very well. So I'll just take you all through to the room, and you can get an idea of how we have placed everything. So this is how it is. We've kept all the plates, most of them are in show cupboards besides the ones that are larger here. So these are put between 2 wood panels, and then we go towards the plates. So some more plates. So you can imagine how many, when we talk about people, how important people were to keep these structures and these historic houses alive. And I'll now give you all a quick tour of the gardens as well. So we have a swing here, which is quite a quintessential part of any Gujarati, especially Kathiawadi home. So we do have the local touch as well, given that we have a colonial structure here. And this is actually something very important. You can see a fire, line, and it's quite a challenge to actually create these, put together the modern facilities in a historic house. And I'm sure Dr. Schmidt maybe can talk more about this in her lecture series, but it's quite challenging. And I've seen my mother as well as my brother struggle with getting all these things installed for quite some time now. These are the gardens. Give the nets. Basically, we have a lot of pigeons coming in here, so the nets kind of prevent those pigeons from spoiling the interiors of the property. And we go to the next side here. So here we have Digvijay Bhai with us, and Happy Palace Day, Digvijay Bhai. Namaste. Could you tell us a little, आपका जो experience है, staying in Neelam Bagh? How many years have you worked here? आप कितना साल थी इधर काम कर रहे हो?
अच्छा, मैं अपने आप को बहुत भाग्यशाली समझता हूँ कि मैंने एक ही जगह पे मेरा ये 33वां साल चल रहा है, मैं यहाँ काम कर रहा हूँ। मैंने उनसे पहले कभी काम नहीं किया, कोई जगह पे काम नहीं किया है। और मैं आपको दो हिस्से में मैं पहले इसकी बात बताना चाहता हूँ। रॉयल फैमिली के साथ पे भी जुड़ा हूँ और मैं होटल में जुड़ा हूँ। तो पहले मैं होटल की बात अगर आपको करूँ तो जो मैंने जब काम शुरू किया तो सबसे पहले जो VIP गेस्ट थे प्रिंस करीब आगा खान थे। तो प्रिंस करीब आगा खान 88 से लेके दलाई लामा जब तक आया तब तक मैंने बहुत सारे VIP गेस्ट को यहाँ मैंने देखे, मैंने उसको ट्रीट किए हैं। और अगर मैं रॉयल फैमिली की बात करूँ तो मुझे आज कहते हुए बहुत गर्व महसूस होता है कि मैंने महाराजा साहब विजयराज सिंह जी की शादी भी अटेंड की है, और अभी जो युवराज साहब की शादी हुई वो भी मैंने अटेंड की है। तो मैं अपने आप को बहुत ही भाग्यशाली समझता हूँ। बहुत VIP गेस्ट यहाँ आए, सबको मिले और सबसे हमने वो किया है, तो मैं अपने आप को बहुत ही भाग्यशाली समझता हूँ।
So thank you so much, Digvijay Bhai. This is again, we're on the first floor, and these are again the exterior. So we have a courtyard here, and we also have a courtyard downstairs, and we have some cleaning going on here. And I'm gonna take y'all back to this to the room. So I see one of the comments is so nice to see the staff, and I'm looking for the translation. So Digvijay Bhai is one of the integral parts of Neelam Bagh Palace, and he's been working here since over 33 years, so much before I was even born. And he has sort of honed the skills of anything heritage. So he is our go-to person for that, and he's very helpful in any kind of heritage-related questions, in showing the guests around. So super efficient. And when I talk about Neelam Bagh, like he mentioned, we've had guests ranging from the late Aga Khan, who was in 88, who came here in 88, and then we also have, in recent times, we have presidents such as the ex-president Pratibha Patil. We have the Prime Minister Narendra Modi who's visited. We've also had a lot of musical programs here because my late grandfather was very fond of music. So after his demise, my grandmother started a program here where we invited all the classical Indian music maestros of that time, and we housed them. We had these lovely concerts here, and it created a beautiful environment. But at the same time, we also sort of promoted Indian classical music, which is an eminent part of our cultural heritage, I would say. So yeah, that's where the guests are concerned, and the people of Neelam Bagh. As I mentioned, most of the people who are working here have either been working for very long, so they are family, and or they're just sort of being integrated into us, our system. And when I speak about present day COVID-19, how are historic structures such as this functioning and sort of coping up? So, of course, it is challenging because it's not been easy for the tourism and hospitality industry as a whole. Again, I'm not an expert on hospitality. I am a heritage conservator and a museum cultural person by profession. I work with an auction house, so I'm not a hospitality person. But of course, we do end up, the exposure more than anything else does teach you a few things. So, my 2 cents in terms of the impact of COVID-19 has been that it is tougher for structures where there is a lot of maintenance and there is a lot of looking after in comparison to newer hotels which can manage, with bare minimum wages or bare minimum overheads in that sense. So for us, each little thing like, installing a light, installing a fire safety thing, installing Wi-Fi, I mean, we have constant issues because, you have these thick walls and it's very tough to get that connectivity around. So these are some of the few trivial but yet time-consuming challenges that one faces on a daily basis. And when it comes to maintaining the structure during a pandemic, it's very tough, naturally. But as things are opening up, we've had a lot of staycations, we've had some shoots, we've had locals coming and enjoying the place. So as I mentioned, we are right in the center of the city. So we don't only appeal to tourists, but we do also promote heritage in the city. So when I completed my master's a few years ago in heritage management and conservation from Durham in the UK and came back, I felt that there was this lack of connect between the youth and the heritage of the city. So you have the seniors and the elderly in Bhavnagar who are very very informed and educated when it comes to oral histories or cultural heritage, the stories of historic structures such as Neelam Bagh. But when it came to the younger generation, there wasn't so much integration or engagement with heritage houses or palaces such as this in their own city. So what also tends to happen is when I think everyone who's listening to this would sort of agree with me is that when you're living in a place, you don't end up exploring that place as much as you would being a tourist. So I felt the need to start this organization, and with a few like-minded people of the city, we started a society called Bhavnagar Heritage Preservation Society. So through that society, we've sort of tried to create awareness in terms of preservation, protection and promotion of heritage in Bhavnagar district, not just the city. And encourage students in schools, in colleges to engage with their cultural heritage, be it structures such as Neelam Bagh Palace or be it even a park which is 100 and some years old. So it's not just about cultural but also about natural heritage. And when it came to that, we had a lot of awareness programs and a lot of people took interest, and that's when I realized that we can't just there has to be a lot of more local community engagement. And a lot of the staff that we house here in Neelam Bagh as well, a lot of them stay with us, the ones who have come from outstation. And during the entire pandemic, they've actually lived here with us in our premises. So we are a very safe property in that sense because we don't have anyone coming from outside per se. Everybody is in-house on the campus. And people also who are of Bhavnagar have suddenly, decided to explore their own cities in the pandemic when, you have nowhere to go. So we've had a lot of people coming, having a meal here, ordering food, of course, is a very done thing nowadays. So we've focused a lot on food, and that's something my brother it's his speciality when it comes to Neelam Bagh Palace. And so that's how we've kind of sustained ourselves through the pandemic, and we're kind of glad now that things are again opening up, and we are hoping to welcome local tourists as of now. Of course, international tourists not so much right now, but yeah, that's the story when it comes to the pandemic. And of course, when it comes to the society, we've had a lot of engagement and awareness drives. We have heritage walks every weekend. I hope I'm audible because it's very windy here with the monsoon, but we have a lot of heritage walks now which are in and around Bhavnagar. So I think the best way or involve more people, create those jobs, create that interest, you have to have a more locally informed community and a more integrated one. So I think that's something we at Neelambag strive to achieve as well. And when it comes to how, at least my vision, I really do hope that in terms of experiences, Bhavnagar is a big city on its own. So while there are several historic houses and palaces in Gujarat, and many of them are really worth visiting, they're beautiful, we itself in Bhavnagar have created our own little itinerary. So given COVID, it's a safer way to travel as well, because you're just going to that one place, and we're targeting experiential tourism here. So you get everything under that one umbrella when you're here. So yeah, that's the basic history and story of this property. And presently we don't live in the structure, at the structure. We live in our home, which is just a few minutes on the same campus. So the entire property, Neelambag Palace, is a heritage hotel. And I think there are quite a few questions, so I'm just going to go and try and answer whichever ones I can. Please do excuse me if I can't answer any of them. I will try my best. If you do have any questions, please do post them on the chat or on these comments, and I will do my best. So we do have, okay. 1 second. Yeah, so how does the staff maintain these properties? So that's something, again, my mother handles, but I'll try and answer it. So we obviously have a very good structure when it comes to daily cleaning and daily maintenance. What happens with heritage properties is that if there isn't regular maintenance done, it is something that is not going to be financially viable to do in one chunk, in one way. There are constant issues. There are things right from water leakages, drainage problems, Wi-Fi, like I mentioned, but we also live amongst a lot of flora and fauna and greenery, so we do end up having a lot of mosquitoes and those sort of issues around the structure. So that is something we have to be very aware of while we're indoors and maintaining that everyone is protected and comfortable here. So of course those are a few things. Recently we actually had the limestone, like I said, is the exterior, the facade of the property. And we recently saw that the limestone, the Rajula stone as it's known by here, because the stone was sourced from a place called Rajula, so that's the reason it gets its name. But it is basically limestone, so it's lime and mortar. And we saw that there was a little bit of a darkening of the limestone. And this was mainly in the facade of the structure. So obviously the palace look that one, a traveler or a visitor is looking for was kind of losing its value. So we started a cleaning drive where we basically got the entire facade of the structure cleaned. And that itself was a mammoth of a task, because you need the right kind of scaffolding, you need the right kind of tools, and more than anything you need the right kind of people doing this, because one wrong stroke of cleaning or one wrong chemical or one wrong material that is used, and it can really damage these structures. So anyone who's looking, anyone with a historic house or with a palace is looking for any kind of restoration or conservation, I would say make sure you go to the right conservation architects, the right kind of engineers, so that the properties are looked after. And for the tourists coming to these places, I would recommend appreciating all the hard work and that just sort of goes into creating this and making these structures so resilient, as Dr. Schmidt would say. And 1 second, let me just try and answer a few others. Maybe safety is better for guests in heritage buildings. So yes, we don't have centralized air conditioning. As you can see, everything is very open. Air conditioning itself, installing air conditions in a historic structure is another challenge. And we try and keep the structure as open as possible. Obviously during summer that was a challenge given the heat of Saurashtra and Gujarat. But now during the monsoons it's beautiful. We have the structures completely empty. And Neelam Bagh as a hotel, as a architect on an architectural front, as I showed, it's an enclosed structure, so we have a fountain in the center, a courtyard, and it's very airy. So the beauty is that it's very safe in terms of COVID and stuff like that, because we have constant cross ventilation going on. So in that sense, it's a very safe structure, and it's also quite healthy for us to be breathing fresh air. So. Why do domestic tourists have to pay a lot to stay in such properties? So we are not a very expensive property, at least I don't think so. And like I said, a historic property is, you can't get the same, you shouldn't pay the same that you would for a modernized structure or property, because we as historic house, families or custodians would be devaluing our properties if we are going to be reducing our rates to compete with such places. And I think online portals play a very huge role in devaluing these structures, because as I said, a lot goes into maintaining them, a lot goes into creating a structure which is actually standing today and is 100 or 200 or in a lot of times like 400, 500 years old. So it's not that simple. So it is, you are paying for an experience, you are staying in a palace, you're not staying in a new modern building that's taken a year or 6 months to be built. So you have to sort of cherish that part of it, and enjoy the heritage that you're coming to see and live in. What is your favorite part about the property? So I think my favorite part about the property would be the courtyard. I'm going to take you all again there. So we have these beautiful bird paintings in the courtyard. They're all over on the walls around, encircling the courtyard. And that's definitely my favorite part, because as I said, it's a very airy structure. So this is what I'm talking about, the ground floor, basically the courtyard. So we have these beautiful bird paintings. They were painted by a local artist of Bhavnagar itself, called Somalal Shah, and he's depicted them in their natural environment. He has studied these birds for various seasons to understand their environment, their colors. So the detailing is just beautiful. I have been a student of art history, and I think my interest in those paintings, as well as just that area, it's a very peaceful place to be in. So I would definitely say that is my favorite part of the property. What is your vision of a Bhavnagar heritage? So as I mentioned, Bhavnagar Heritage was founded with the aim to kind of create that heritage awareness and integration of the people with Bhavnagar's heritage, not just Neelam Bagh. And we've had quite a great, we've done quite a lot in a short amount of time, I would say myself. We have documented the city's historic structures so far. We do conduct heritage walks, which are conducted by trained interpreters. I don't conduct them. And we are now working with artisans of the region as well. So we are hoping to promote local craft and create that kind of heritage tourism as well in that sense. So the vision all in all is to create an impact. I mean, in the shortest sentence that I can say, it's to create an impact for us, for the people, as well as keep the heritage of Bhavnagar alive in that sense. So I think as historic houses, we are all trying to just be relevant on a map that's constantly, exponentially, I think, increasing in terms of hotels and properties, new ones. So it is challenging, and I think for me the vision would be to create an impact where we have a good city, a clean city, and the heritage, cultural, natural, oral histories are promoted and built on, for that matter, not just safeguarding what's been passed down to us, but also build on something. So that would be my small vision. And are you conscious about the property's environment impact? So that's something actually that my mother took up quite a few years ago. I think before the whole environmental and plastic thing became some, the campaigns started. So we do try, we are using renewable energy wherever we can. We do water harvesting. We don't have so many electric anyways connections and lights because it is a heritage property, so like one drill and one issue and you have 10 other issues erupting. So in that sense we are very environmentally conscious even when it comes to wastage of food and sort of creating those we are very conscious of what we are aware of what we are wasting and how we can reduce that waste. Even in terms of gardening, we do use water that is from our boring, from our wells and stuff. So we are very environmentally conscious, and I think it's a process because as technology advances, we have to keep revamping our own structures, and hence the financial viability part comes in, and creating the impact, as I said. Sorry, it has been. My favorite part about Bhavnagar Heritage, so my favorite part about Bhavnagar Heritage would definitely be interacting with the people of Bhavnagar. I didn't grow up in the city, I grew up in Bombay and I did not do my college here either. So for me it's a great experience because I get to learn a lot from the people. I don't know as much as I would like to. So I think interacting with people, especially during heritage walks, I think that's a very fun task for me. I love waking up in the morning and walking the streets of Bhavnagar, and when we do the same walks, the same routes, there's always something nice to learn, and I think that's only possible because I have a really nice team of heritage interpreters. So they're all very focused, very enthusiastic young minds, I would say. So I think that's my favorite bit about Bhavnagar Heritage. What were the obstacles faced during the starting of BHPS? So for me, in terms of starting Bhavnagar Heritage, the main obstacle that I faced was that I did not know the people, like I didn't know the people of Bhavnagar on a personal front. So there was a lot about, of course, my family, they know my family and, in that sense, but there wasn't a personal connect. So I think for me that was very challenging, and I'm not generally a very outgoing person. So I think that became, I had to sort of like go about and get to know people and get to know the places prior to actually taking up any of the objectives or aims of what we had set up, to do. So I think that was the main obstacle that I faced, was familiarizing myself with this region. And is it difficult to convey the importance of heritage to the youths? So we started a heritage club in school, and then unfortunately the pandemic started and obviously schools were shut down. But last week itself, just Saturday, we had this cleaning drive with one of the schools of Bhavnagar, and I mean, it's very easy to connect with the youth because they're so eager to learn. So there is that hunger to learn, to gain more knowledge. So I think when it comes to the youth, it's much easier to convey the importance of heritage because they're all interested and they're eager to, they're young minds, so they're more moldable, right? But when it comes to my generation, for example, I would say it's more challenging because you're already set in your habits, or you're set in your patterns to a great extent. So I think that's when the challenge comes on raising that awareness, whether it's to clean your surroundings, keep your sites, keep your heritage structures not vandalized, or to even visit them and appreciate them. So I think for me, dealing with school kids and that youth is very easy, but in terms of dealing with my generation of people, it's easy to deal with. But in terms of conveying the message and creating that change, I don't think it's something that happens overnight. I think it's going to take years of learning and unlearning to sort of do. So yeah, I think we're all done with the questions so far. So I would just like to really thank Dr. Schmidt again and the Center for Historic Houses for including us in Palace Day, and for also giving me the chance to speak and showcase our property here. I invite you all to Neelambagh from my family's behalf, And I do hope that COVID times sort of subside, and we can celebrate Palace Day maybe at different properties or at different palaces and structures of India, because as I've seen during the the social media posts of Center for Historic Houses, that there are so many beautiful palaces and historic houses in India that need to be highlighted, that need to be promoted, and also that need to be enjoyed. So thank you once again, and I hope to have invite you all to Neelambag as well. Thank you so much.